In the world of modern streaming, every second is vital. Any 60 seconds could be a clip that changes your life, for better or for worse. But of course, with the medium that relies heavily on real-time events being broadcasted to what can often be thousands of people, there are bound to be things that go wrong. And of course, there are countless scary and disturbing events that should have never even been live streamed.
Don't come! Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Fuck off! Call the police! Fuck off! Fuck off! Leave him alone!
From making contact with the real aliens to a man finding the kidnapper of his son, I've gathered a few of the most disturbing live broadcasts for us to look at. Sometime in 2017, Debbie Merrick had been walking home with her husband when they had spotted an old antique shop. The couple would go inside and find a trio of suspicious-looking old china dolls and take them home. And it's here in the couple's home where one of the dolls would begin to supposedly wreak havoc. See, the doll would supposedly do things like leave scratches on the husband's leg, or even set off the fire alarm during strange hours in the night. Now, the couple would let this go on for quite a while before they'd start posting about the doll and reporting it to local news channels, which led to the morning show catching wind of the situation. Of course, the hosts of the show had their doubts about the outrageous claims being made by the couple, so they had the couple come on the show with the doll to try and prove the claims in front of a live studio audience. The interview was going pretty normal, with the interviewers of course asking questions about the doll, when, seemingly out of nowhere, the chair that the doll was sitting in would begin rocking on its own.
Chair's beginning to rock.
Rocking.
Look at that.
Who's doing that? Stop it.
Nobody could explain how the chair was rocking either, with members in a live audience tweeting out things like, "So who's rocking the chair?" Or even, "Did no one else see the chair moving by itself with the doll in it?" Everyone in the presence of the doll was rightfully shocked. The doll is of course no longer in possession of the couple after this interview, but the fact that something as unexplainable as this happened on live TV and in front of a live audience and still has no public explanation today definitely makes it one of the creepiest live broadcasts. For the next video, you're gonna need some context. See, a while back, Twitch streamer Jenny TTY set out on a journey to walk across Taiwan while streaming. She would of course garner many fans from this, as everyone seemed to love her idea. Well, maybe a little too much. See, during one of Jenny's walking across Taiwan streams, Jenny's chat would begin to notice a guy in a black hooded face mask following Jenny pretty closely. Jenny of course caught on to the guy thanks to her chatters, but she barely pays the guy much mind after long, as she obviously has a very long way to go and can't afford to stop and pay him much mind anyways. However, once Jenny gets further along the walking trail, fans urge her for updates on the hooded man's whereabouts, only to find that the man is still behind her.
The guy in dark clothes, oh, he's there. He's there. Do you see him? But he's like covering his entire clothes with the black mask as well. Yeah, I cannot see his face at all. He's like ninja.
Still though, alarm bells don't immediately go off for Jenny, as she soon stops anyways to take a quick break at a cafe nearby. Now Jenny takes an hour-long break, all while sitting on stream, before she goes back to her walking trail. And guess who's not too far behind her, even over an hour later?
That guy's still there. That guy was following us. Why is the guy following us?
The hooded man was still following behind. Jenny is determined to walk her path though, so she cautiously waits for the hooded man to make his move. The man crosses the street and hops the gate to look at the ocean for several minutes. Jenny would then see this as her opportunity to walk past him, but to her dismay, shortly after she walks by, the man gets up from his spot and continues walking in Jenny's direction. Now fortunately, a little while later, a news interviewer comes by to interview Jenny for her attempt to walk across Taiwan. This is where Jenny would inform the interviewer of the hooded stalker following her. So the journalist begins recording the guy and saying that he's gonna get put on the news, which surprisingly, he actually was. That is, only after one of Jenny's viewers had called the local authorities on the hooded man, where he was reported to have gotten aggressive and refusing to cooperate with the law enforcement officers. Jenny thankfully came out okay in the end. However, being stalked by a masked man for hours on end is undeniably among the most disturbing things to happen on a live stream. Imagine hopping on your favorite game late at night with the guys. You play some COD or Overwatch, hell, maybe even Fort. Now, think about how deeply locked into the game you really are. After all, you've been playing the game for hours. Would you still be able to notice that knock at your door? Or what about that tap at your window glass? Well, unfortunately, this streamer already has his answer to that question. In this video, Twitch streamer Jay Kirky has went live, same as he always had. Of course, the stream was going entirely normal. until, suddenly, in the middle of his gameplay, Jay hears a loud crash downstairs, which obviously alerts him, seeing as he lives alone.
Sounds like someone's trying to break in to my next door house.
He gets up and runs downstairs, leaving his viewers confused and concerned, listening to whatever the hell was going on downstairs, only to realize that someone had broken in through Jay's window. The attacker apparently had a gun pointed at Jay's face. What's worse is at some points in the video, you can hear Jay pleading for his life from downstairs. Jay would fortunately survive this incident with only smashed up belongings and a broken window. However, he was still noticeably and reasonably shaken up when he comes back to his stream, before ending it of course.
Someone literally... Someone just broke in, like, smashed my window.
While Jay was fortunately unharmed, it honestly doesn't make the situation any less heart-dropping. Louisiana, March 1984. Gary Palouche, father of a young boy, is walking around with a chip on his shoulder and a stick in his pocket. Not entirely unjustified though. See, a few months earlier, Gary's friend Jeff Doucet had went missing. Jeff was beloved by their local community, as he was a popular karate instructor. The kids all described Jeff as everyone's best friend. So when Jeff came to pick up Gary's son to take him to practice on the side, promising that he'd return in 15 minutes, no one batted an eye. But things started to get suspicious when Jeff didn't bring Gary's son back. In fact, by that night, Jeff had shaved his head completely bald and dyed Gary's son's hair from its natural blonde to black. Yeah, if you hadn't guessed already, Jeff was on the run with Gary's kid and had no plans of turning back. Fortunately though, after days of searching, the police found Jeff, arrested him, and made sure Gary's kid was okay. And it was here we learned the sad truth, that Jeff had molested the young boy at several points during their time together. And while Gary Palouche was relieved to have his son back, he simply couldn't trust that justice would be accurately given to his son's kidnapper and now molester. Now, given the local popularity of Jeff at the time, the story of him trying to kidnap a child and change his identity broke local news. In fact, the local news station had been broadcasting Jeff's perp walk, and that is what leads us all the way back to the start of the story. Gary Palouche waits for the perpetrator of his son's crime to walk past him on live TV. Cleverly disguised, no one recognizes Gary initially, so he calmly waits for Jeff to walk past him. And the moment Jeff does, Gary turns around and locks onto his head as if he was blessed with aimbot. And boom, just like that, justice was served on live TV, in front of an audience of thousands. The whole town was watching, but not a single one was surprised. It was near simultaneously agreed by everyone watching the live broadcast that Jeff had gotten what was coming to him. Hey, welcome to the end of the video. If you've made it this far, then you might as well subscribe and drop a like. And if you're feeling generous, you could also follow me on Instagram and Twitter for behind the scenes bullshit I post pretty regularly. And yeah, see ya.